Prophecy of Mother Shipton, about the life and predictions of the greatest legendary English witch and seer. According to legend, Ursula Shipton was born in 1488 during a storm in a cave by the River Nid in northern Yorkshire, England. At the age of 2, her mother Agatha Shipton, known for her supernatural abilities, abandoned her and took refuge in a monastery in Nottingham for the rest of her life. According to another version, she died during childbirth. Ursula, who was said not to be very attractive, was raised by a foster family in the suburbs of Knaresborough. She astounded people with her prophetic and psychic abilities from an early age. She always tried to help people, but they often feared her mystical skills. In 1512, she married a carpenter named Toby Shipton, but the marriage remained childless. She wrote her prophecies and predictions of future events in the form of poems. Some of her visions came true during her lifetime, while others proved to be true in the following centuries. She predicted to her contemporary King Henry VIII the victory over the French in the so-called Battle of the Spurs in Guinegate in 1513. She foretold the defeat of the Spanish naval forces 1588. She also warned of the bubonic plague, which claimed about 85,000 lives in London in 1665, and of the Great Fire that turned the majority of the city into a heap of rubble the following year. Her legend soon spread throughout England. She came to be known as Mother Shipton. According to tradition, she predicted her own death. She died in 1561 in Clifton, Yorkshire. According to some sources, she was burned at the stake as a witch. The rhymed prophecies of Mother Shipton still surprise with their flawless accuracy, even though some passages were manipulated and adjusted by later editors according to their own ideas. The most famous case is that of the British publisher Richard Hindley, who arbitrarily changed and added verses of his own. In 1862, he published them, causing a great stir as he inserted the statement, "The world will come to an end in the year 1881. He admitted his fraud in time, but it did not prevent the panic that erupted in England before this date. Despite all the uncertainties, Mother Shipton, also known as the Yorkshire Sibyl, is rightfully considered the greatest English witch and seer. In Knaresborough, a town located 26.5 km west of York, the highly visited Mother Shipton's memorial and the cave where she was said to be born can be seen. One of her prophecies is supposedly linked to the so-called High Bridge next to the entrance of the cave, which states, "The world to an end shall come," in 1881. It should be noted that the bridge has already collapsed twice. The oldest surviving book dedicated to the prophecies of Ursula Shipton, born Shipton, was published in 1641. The title was The Prophecies of Mother Shipton during the reign of Henry VIII, predicting the death of Cardinal Wolsey, Lord Percy, and others, as well as what is to come in future times. With the edition, printed by the expense of Richard Lowndes and his adjacent shop in Ludgate, 1641. An expanded collection of prophecies, supplemented with the biography of Mother Shipton, was compiled and published by Richard Head in 1667. The following text is a summary of passages from Mother Shipton's prophecies that concern our time. God will travel around the world as fast as the blink of an eye. Water will perform miracles on its own. How strange, yet it will happen so. A proud man will ride through towering mountain. Without a horse or mule carrying his backside, he will walk even beneath the rippling water's surface, traveling, sleeping, and even speaking. In the air, you will be able to behold a person. In white, in black, and even in green. A great person will appear, then depart once more. So says my prophecy, and so it shall be. Even metal will float on the water, as easily as a wooden ship. Gold will appear in streams and rocks, in a land we have not yet fathomed. Then England will begin to worship a Jew. It may seem strange, yet it will be so. The Jew, once cast down in scorn, will be born again as a Christian. A house of glass will rise towards the heavens in England. But alas, alas, the storm of war will follow this achievement. There, pagans and Turks toil and sweat. Both sides will be immersed in fierce battles, in mutual effort for their own demise. The North will succeed in splitting the South, and the eagle will nest only in the lion's jaws. Then contributions, blood, and ruthless combat will find their way to the doorstep. The year 1926 will come. Brick houses will be lit with straw and logs. Upon them, the plan of war is prepared, and fire and sword will sweep across the land. Monstrous creatures ridden by man, in the illusion, will devour the green meadows. Like for a bird today, flying will be easy. Gone will be the horse, and gone will be the plow. In those wonderfully distant days, women will behave like mad, dressing like men, wearing trousers. They will cut their hair, and even the braids will disappear. They will straddle horses without shame, the way today's witches ride their brooms. When images move like the living, when ships will sail under the sea like lively fish, when a man takes flight like a bird and crosses the sky, then half of the world, soaked in blood, dies, and the yellow man will gain terrible strength, thanks to the powerful bear he shares his bed with. The might of these tyrannies will also fade. They will not succeed in dividing the world in two, but from their threatening deeds, a lingering chill will leave many silent. No learned doctors will find a remedy for this ailment worse than leprosy. Even greater signs will be seen. In the vicinity of the people of later centuries, 3 sleeping mountains will suddenly awaken, exhaling mud, ice, and death. In one fell swoop, city after city will be swallowed by the land, in lands that I still do not know of in these days. For all who have lived through this century, a time will come when limbs will tremble and demons will flee. They will flee to hidden burrows where mountains steeply rise, to swamps and forests hidden behind a thorny wall. Tempests will be unleashed and the sea will roar until Gabriel stands over sea and land. Then he will blow his miraculous horn. Old words will perish and a new generation will come. This will be a sign to all who can see. Rest assured, this will happen to all who are still living. Love will die instantly, and marriage will vanish. Nations will decrease, and innocence will be foreign to all. Women will care for cats and the tribe of dogs, while men will live like wild stallions. Then the fiery dragon will pass through the sky 6 times before meeting the wretched earth's end. Mankind will tremble, and whispers of fear will spread, for this prophecy's heralds 6 of them. And when the fiery tail of the dragon disappears, people will dismiss it from their minds, laugh, and continue as they were. Too late, they will realize they had what they wanted. By living as before, they escape their fate. Their grandeur and the smile that tortures their face, in the end, will move even God with gall. He will send the dragon back, illuminating the sky, and its tail will slap the earth's face. The earth will split, it will crack, and man, king, and the last slave will flee. For long nights, 7 and 7 days, man will contemplate this ominous sign. The tide will rise in places frozen in astonishment. The coast will vanish. There will be no ebb. Then the mountains will roar in the pains of birth, splitting the land and shores with a terrifying earthquake. Then the floods of swift waters will rush, transforming the entire earth into a muddy ford. Mankind disappearing in the swamp of slickness will only offer cries of anguish for their fellow beings, and in terror, fleeing from the deluge, they will kill and rape in a bloody rage. The blood spilled by humanity's hands will leave a bitter stain behind. With foam of despair at their lips and murder by their side, they hide provisions in secret places in the mountains. Disgustingly vile in their fear, filled with lies, they will kill raiders, thieves, and spies. Slowly but surely, driven by cruel thirst, They will all head towards the vanishing spring. Yet many will die defenseless against the thirst, as the swollen sea alters everything around. Then the earth will crack again and rocks will split. Are you surprised? She who knows speaks to you. In a land so terribly distant, lost groups will wander. They will have no choice but to leave behind all they knew. There will be too few of them for us to count. When this unreadable part in the original, then of salvation, a new birth of the human race will begin, but not in lands known to us today, rather in days of oceans, barren, dry, and empty. Not every human soul will surrender to death's moans, while the fiery dragon will scourge the earth with its tail. Not every continent will necessarily be submerged, but it will transform into a stinking mire, full of rotting corpses of animals and humans alike, and scorched plants as far as the eye can see. Yet a new land, born from the seas, dry, pure, soft, and free, devoid of humanity's filth and its misery, will become the source of a new human dynasty. But forever in fear, those who survive will live off the dragon with a tail that kills. Time will erase everything with its long stride. Does it seem strange to you? Yet that is how it is. But even before the generations are reborn, a silver serpent will enter those days. It will bring forth people never before seen, to mix with those who have carried the earth. Only the cool head of these people can illuminate the mind of the future man, enter him and show him how to live quite ordinarily and love oneself. The second children, brought forth by those generations, will understand natural things as they are. They will grow up gracious and modest, achieving the beginning of the golden age of new days. Prophecy text taken from the book When the Comet Comes by Tom K. Book Club, Prague 1998.